Hello, Thomas. Welcome back to, let's call this terrific Thomas Trifecta Thursday. The alliteration to start off this day. We're doing something a little bit different today. We're going to go with Delaware Park, hopefully assisting our friends out in Turkey who tune in because they're allowed to bet at Delaware, which is kind of an interesting thought to me, Thomas.
I do. I think it's very interesting. And even up in Canada, they cover Delaware as one of the because of the early start time. That's one of their primary
tracks that they have. It's fast today on the dirt, but the turf is off, which made one race only 3 horses in there. So there's a 100% chance that we'll have the winner in that one in our top 3 picks, Tom.
And if we don't, we need to retire.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess they could just, if one more scratches and they don't make it a dual race, then we could be forced into retirement. Someone who didn't retire last night is our good friends, Jamie and Sean. They were on last night with Presque Isle Downs track announcer, Jeff Cernick. Hopefully you tuned in for that. Always entertaining when we have the track callers on. I think it's a prerequisite to be a big personality when you call the races. If you haven't seen that, it's right here on our horse racing radar channel. Tune in for that. Again, our free track today, I've never really bet there, Tom, but when I was doing the handicapping today, it sure looked like, or yesterday, Albuquerque, a lot of those races looked like, I don't want to say predictable, but when I saw the numbers, I like what I saw. So our free track of the day coming up at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Have you ever played Albuquerque?
I have not played it and haven't been to it either.
I haven't been there either. I've not even been to New Mexico. Have you been to the city of Albuquerque?
Oh, yeah. More than a few times.
Yeah, I've heard it's nice. I was actually reading.
I used to have to go to work in El Paso, so went over to Sunland once. The track across the border is long closed.
I had read
there's only one track left in Mexico. It's down in Mexico City.
The Hippodrome or whatever it's called. So yeah, I had read that like Albuquerque was one of the better cities to move into now because the housing is cheap and all that sort of stuff, and the cost of living is not that expensive, and maybe the city's on the upswing. I don't know. I haven't been there myself. So we are going to do Delaware Park. Interesting day yesterday at Kentucky Downs. I think minus the second race, we had the winner in our picks in every other race, which was a good thing, including some nice ones. We had a good price on that Vote No. That was the Presque Isle Downs horse that came in off of the good race on the all-weather. And then we had that 10 horse the first time started with the Bullet and Go workout. I forget the name of it, but what's the name again? Show Off. Yes. A Brad Cox horse that we both mentioned that paid $35. So to win, hopefully you had that in your picks. What is my least favorite track to handicap? All right. Quick question for you, Thomas. What is your least favorite track to handicap?
My least favorite, absolute, the pits, is Turfway.
Turfway Park. I see. I do all right there, but strangely enough, I think it's the surface for me. Woodbine makes it a little bit difficult for me. Whatever reason, I struggle there. And oddly, they're both all-weather tracks, so maybe that has a common denominator between the two.
I think it's time of year. Somehow that winter form, I can't get 100%. I prefer to go a little farther south. Oak Lawn or Fairgrounds.
Or Gulfstream Park, the championship meet. We got those quality horses.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we got the worst out of the way, this one should be interesting because as we look at Delaware Park, one of the things I noticed, and we'll talk about it as we go through the profile of a winner, is if you win the race to the quarter-mile marker, you got a pretty good chance to win the race overall. What's the first race all about, Tom?
We're dealing with 2-year-olds.
Oh, yay.
2 6 furlongs, and even better, they're maiden claimers for 20K.
20K maiden claimers.
2 pounds off if you want to run them for 16, and there's 2 in here for 16.
All right. So interesting to me that we start off with 2-year-olds, Thomas. Yeah. At 6 furlongs. We talked a bit about the profile of a winner, at least favoring speed. So the races they run at Delaware Park at this meet, early speed wins 43% of the time. That's a big number, Tom. It goes wire to wire. So a horse that's got a 43% chance to win, you're probably talking about odds of like 7-5. So anything over 7-5 that can get to the front, I mean, is worthwhile to take a look at. Post positions 1 through 7 play fair. 8 and out is a pretty nice bonus. We do our simulations here. So in race number 1, So 15, we do 1,000 simulations using speed figures to see who wins, to calculate what we think fair odds would be. Looking for overlays. Chica Chuck, 5-2 morning line. Looks like, according to our simulations, maybe 1-1 might be fair odds on that 7. Catalina Kid, the 3-horse, 2-1. Looks like maybe 3-2 could be fair odds. Everybody else looks like a little bit of an overlay. We do 1,000 simulations for speed to see who might be up on the lead. Again, a key factor at Delaware Park, the quarter-mile marker. Cajun Joe, according to our analysis, 65% chance to have the lead. Honest Rogue, the 5-horse, a 27% chance to have the lead. And then looking at C-Zone, this is based upon these early pace projections here, which horses are likely to get a pace that is comfortable or mirrors some of their best races. And Honest Rogue, the 5-horse, your top pick, Tom, scoring number 1 there, maybe close to everybody else all added up. We also look at the pace shape. Here, Tom, the E's want to be on the lead. EPs can lead or pressure horses. PCs are very versatile, can be really anywhere on here. C's are your closers. This group here are all horses that haven't been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line and up to the last 10 races. So you got 2-year-olds, none of which have shown very much. And then you got your first-time starters in here. So looking at the experienced horses with early speed, Cajun Joe and Honest Rogue, just like the simulation says, most likely to be your pace setters. With these 2 down here, question marks. Late speed, which could be maybe important here. Chica Chuck got the most late speed, about 9 points better than everybody else. So 2 lengths. So if that one's within 2 lengths, coming down the stretch, should have a good shot to score. And then finally, looking at total pace, which played a big role in our picks yesterday. A lot of total pace horses fared well. The 7 and the 8, Chica Chuck and Luis Alberto, grading out pretty much better than anybody else in there. Tom, who do you have?
Yeah, I start with number 5. Honest Rogue is my top choice. Showed speed last time out, went to the 8th pole, and then it backed up. It's newly gelded. They're switching the jockeys, and based on the numbers, he could be lone speed. Maybe. The big favorite is going to be the 3, which I'll take for second, and that's Catalina Kid. Nothing in the slop last time out. The first start was much better. Both were at Monmouth. Yeah, they're going to obviously overbet this one. And the workouts, I think, are just average. Mm-hmm. Finally, I'm going to take number 9, Down Patrick, as my final choice. It's a first-time starter. Workouts are decent. Trainer hasn't won this year, but from the 13 starts, they has 3 seconds and 2 thirds. So getting money, but not getting wins.
Maybe that'll change today for the 9-horse Down Patrick. I mean, these 2-year-olds. Chica Chuck did run that, does have the top total paces we saw. You combine that last time out with the top last race speed figure. You got Jamie Ness and I think it was Jaime Rodriguez. The 2 of them together, I win something like 30%, 38%, a pretty big number. And that this horse last time out in its next last race, all of its internal race numbers were better than in its prior start. So a lot of things pointing at the 7 to improve here. Catalina Kid, class dropper, track dropper, as you mentioned, coming in from Monmouth. You have Paco Lopez riding, and Paco so far at Delaware Park, Tom, is winning at an astounding 40%. That's crazy good. And I guess in a sense, somebody like Sean could use that in the argument against me, because I'm always saying that's the horse, not the jockey. Where it's mostly horse.
Maybe that's the case with the New York Jets.
Could be, yes. We'll find out, because maybe Zach Wilson is the key to their winning, not Aaron Rodgers. Number 1, Cajun Joe. This one's going to drop in the class off of its debut. So only has 1 race under its belt. And it got a good shot based upon that first race to be the pace setter. And again, 43% of the time you get to the front, you can win. 7-5, that's about the odds for that. And this horse is going to go off right now in race number 1 at about 22-1. So yeah, you're just on the chance to go wire to wire. It's worthy of a look. And then the last race horse for me in race number 1 is 2, Wesley Thomas. The horse came out, and then since then, the 2 races afterwards, upped its speed figure. So Wesley Thomas headed in the right direction. A third increase in speed figure might be enough to get the job done. 7-3-1-2 for me in the opener at Delaware Park. Now, you mentioned you hadn't been to Albuquerque. Have you been to Delaware Park, Tom?
Yes, I have been to Delaware Park. It's very pretty.
I have not been there. I know that it's not too far from Philadelphia where Sean lives, and I have spent some time in Philly. So maybe next time I'm there, I'll head off to Dover. And it's in Dover, right? Is that where it's at?
No, it's in, I forget the name of the town. It's right near there, though.
Close to Dover.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Delaware
So
is such a big state.
it's not too big, right?
No, not at all.
Race number 2, Tom. What other particulars?
We're going 1 mile. We have optional claimers for 16K. These are for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, who have not started for a claiming price of $8,000 or less in 2021 or 2023. So 3-year ban in there. And the weight is the usual weights. It'll be interesting race because this one actually stayed pretty much intact.
One of the few that did.
Yeah.
So 1 mile, the kind of horse that wins, guess what, Tom? Speed does win at Delaware Park. 30% of the time it goes wire to wire. You got a small rail bias for Sneaky Cheeky. That one could do pretty well with that. 2 through 3. These two down here get a little bit of a penalty. So the maybe early favorite, Jaime Rodriguez and Anna Rocks, 2-3 might struggle a little bit because they get penalized. 4 and out, a tiny bonus, a little bit better than par for 4 and out. Our simulations for race number 2 tell us that if you're looking for some value with the 5 horse in here scratched, the 2 horse, Abadel, 2-1 morning line, 2-1 fair odds. Looks like the value is in the 3 and the 4. 5-1 morning line for Anna Rocks. 5-2 looks like fair value. Tom likes that. Musical Cat, the 4 horse, its odds cut in half too, from 8-1 to about 7-2. So maybe a little bit more cut in half. Every single horse in here shows some ability to get to the lead, although the 1 horse, Sneaky Cheeky on the rail, perhaps the quickest of the bunch. Musical Cat will probably put that to the test. If you're looking for the C-Zone, Abadale and Tiz herself grading out well above everybody else. Musical Cat right in there. So maybe a 2, 4, 6 C-Zone trifecta box. And then looking at the second race, our pace setup. Everybody wants to be kind of in the middle. Nobody really wants to take the lead here. If you look at the early speed numbers from recency, Tiz herself, Sneaky Cheeky, and Musical Cat. That trio probably leads the way at the quarter-mile marker. If any of these has some late speed, they'll probably be the ones to beat. Look at that. Not only does Tiz herself have the top early speed, also has the top late speed by about 5 points. And if you look at that total pace number here, the upside down, the 6 horse grades out 15 points better than the next closest one. That's 3 lengths. So if this race were to run to pace, Tiz herself would be a runaway winner in here. Thomas, what do you think?
I'm going to take number 3, Anna Rocks. I like the effort at last time out at Laurel. Ran a bit wide. It's one at this level at Penn. I just need to be close to the lead to have a chance. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Abadale is my next choice. Has speed. Last 5 races have been good. The distance is not an issue, and if not the favorite, I'll be amazed. Finally, I'm going to take number 4, Musical Cat. Has shown speed on the turf and drops back on the last. So I'm switching back to dirt, I think helps. Claim 3 back. But this horse likes to have issues at the start, so I was a little concerned with that. So I put my comment was win or last.
Well, that's not hard to do in a 5 horse field, right?
No.
And if you're playing a contest today, just to note, when we had on Scott Fiedler, who does win a lot of contests, he mentioned in 5 horse fields, you should take the longest priced horse. That's the strategy. Well, it's more than a 5 horse field in race number 2, right? No, it's a 5 horse field.
5.
Yes. So in a 5 horse field, it looks like probably the 1 horse might be the longest priced odds, or maybe the 4, based upon the morning line odds. I'm going to start in the second race with the 6 horse. Tiz herself has that 15-point total pace edge over everybody else with the top early speed, top late speed, 1/6 of 8 at Delaware Park. The last workout was pretty nice. Could be difficult to pass what you can't catch. Abadel did run a little better in race fractions last out. You got Jamie Ness, Jaime Rodriguez again, mentioned it. They win at 30% and in the money 7 out of 10 races. Musical Cat, the 4 horse, we both see that one finishing 3rd. Quicker fractions in the first half mile out, flipping from turf back to dirt is going to be helpful for Musical Cat. And then Sneaky Cheeky was a tough call for me over your top pick, Tom. Anna Rocks, but I think has a better shot to be more forwardly placed. And other than that, the two of them are pretty similar. So I'll take the one that might be a little bit out in front. So right now, in race number 1, Tom, as they're working their way to the gate, the favorite is the 3-horse, which is your second choice, my second choice. Next up on that board is the 7-horse at 2-1. And then the 2-horse, 7-2. And then everybody else in this group, Tom, is over 10-1 odds, which is kind of in a 9-horse field, 6 horses over 10-1. Everybody else under, basically under 7-2. In a race like that, are you compelled, especially with 2-year-olds, to maybe toss out the 3 favorites and just go all?
It would be tempting because, again, they're 2-year-olds. Who knows? I mean, it's, my consistency with 2-year-olds sometimes it can be very good in some days, and some days you're sitting there scratching your head going, where did that horse come from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just kind of looking at the odds here, who looks like, I mean, still 3 on the 3-horse at 8-5, 3-2 looks like fair value. The 7-horse, according to our simulations, 2-1 looks like fair value over 1-1. So even though they're favorites, you're still providing value based upon our 1,000 simulations. So in that respect, not bad bets from a probability standpoint. They're absolutely bets you should make. The 5-horse, Honest Rogue, with a chance to be up on the lead in that strong C zone. The 1-horse in there, 2 at 18-1. So despite the short odds, the one that's kind of the odd man out in here is Wesley Thomas, because we have fair odds way over 7-2. That would be the one that probably is going to beat us now because I'm going to badmouth them a little bit. But just from a betting standpoint, the 7 and the 3, despite being favorites, still offer value. Real quick again, before we go off, because I'm just kind of trying to kill time, Tom, because they're getting to the starting gate. The free track of the day today for Guaranteed Tip Sheet is Albuquerque. There is a link down in the description below. Kindly make sure you go check that out. Let them know where you came from. Also today, Tom, if you haven't done so, please kindly hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on all of our social sites down there below at Horse Race the number 2 day. Horse Race the number 2 day. You can go to YouTube kindly as well. Hit the share button, take that link, and share it, like it says, with your friends across your social media sites. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers. We'd greatly appreciate that. Tom, any interesting races this weekend overseas?
Yes. At Doncaster is the last of the classics in England, and that is the St. Leger. And we are in the midst of the St. Leger meet, which started on Thursday, I think, if I remember correctly. Well, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. And, so there's some Group 1s, some Group 2s in that meet that are worth noting. Will we see any ones come from the Breeders' Cup? Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be out tomorrow, or fortunately, the way you look at it, my brother's coming in out of town, so I'm going to hang out with him. Don't get to see him that often. And if you make any comments on that, Tom, if people want to follow him on your Twitter, or we can post them on horseracingtoday.net, how can they follow you on Twitter?
Oh, at TJ Horseplayer.
TJ Horseplayer.
My handle. It's TJD, actually, Horseplayer. I'm reading the wrong one.
All right. The other one is that private one. It's that burner account like Kevin Durant where you compliment yourself, right?
Well, of course, somebody has to.
All right. So the first race, we've filled a lot of empty space. They're all lined up in this 2-year-old maiden claiming race. Let's see how they break and let's see how they finish. The 9 horses loaded. The starter's assistant has gotten out of the way, and off they go. Pretty clean break for everybody. The 5-horse, Thomas, has indeed emerged as one of your pace setters. The 1 horse is scrambling up the rail to take, make it a duel right from the get-go. And then after them, you have the 2 horse, the one I badmouthed, Wesley Thomas. Behind them, your 9 horse, Tom, in 4th place. The 2 favorites, they're a little bit far back. So if speed kills, Tom, it looks like your 5-horse might be the one in the right place. The 9-horse at 15-1 is making a pretty good advance as they go through the opening quarter in 22.5 seconds. The 5-horse has edged its way forward. Here comes the 9-horse with a good rush. So you might get yourself a nice price in here, Tom, to open it up at 15-1. On the backside, it does look like one of those horses is charging pretty aggressively. That's the 7-horse. It's going to go way wide, although the 5-horse does maintain its lead. Let's see if it can go wire to wire. I think the 7-horse is going to just run right on by everybody here at the end, Tom. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it does.
You got some other horses that are coming up on the backside here. Although the 2-horse, the one that I mocked, probably not going to win because he's too busy looking at the 7-horse instead of trying to run forward. So you got the 7, the 3, the 2, and then the 4. 7, 3, 2, 4. Speed not holding up with the 2-year-olds to get started. Not surprising in that.
No,
jockey,
they went too fast early.
Yeah, and the jockey never really asked the 7-horse for more. At the end there, he's riding him, handwriting him to the
He showed the whip a few times, and that was about the extent of it.
So the 3 favorites coming in. Again, though, if you just look at the simulated odds, the 7-horse did grade out as the favorite at 1-1 odds. It was your winner. The 7-horse went off at 2-1, so there was still plenty of value. You got twice the price on that 7 for an easy win in the opener at Delaware Park. So hopefully some people put that one on the top of their ticket. All right, Tom, we got 5 more races to go in this short card today. We're used to doing 10, but we're going to go back. Or 12, yeah, bigger numbers. 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. They're off the turf, Tom, but what would they be running for on the dirt anyway?
These are maiden claimers, and it's open to all 3-year-olds and upwards. So anybody can drop their horse into this race. And again, since it got moved, you got to look for ones who are maybe a little more interested in running on the dirt or in the past, or may have something to show.
Yeah, now we don't have any data on the mile and the 16th. Yeah, I agree with you. We don't have anything to look at in the mile and the 16th in terms of profile of a winner. But I guess much like every other dirt race, their speed will do all right, except for maiden claimers with 2-year-olds. But these are 3-year-olds, so maybe they'll go back to form there in race number 3 in terms of our. I don't want to do that because I want that to be where it's supposed to be later on. Looking at our simulation odds, the 1-horse in here, Grunion, is a nice overlay. 8-1 morning line. According to the simulation, this one should be your favorite about 6-5. You got a little bit of overlay with Syncopated, the 12-horse, with 12-1 morning line odds, and 7-1. Call Me a Dreamer, the 11-horse, 5-1 down to 5-2. And with so many horses out of this race, Tom, those odds are all going to come crashing down. I'm going to guess the 11-horse might be your favorite, or maybe the one of those two in there. If you're looking for speed, it does look like Call Me a Dreamer up on the lead, Tom, with the 7-horse. I Want to Rock, the Twisted Sister horse, on the sidelines. Also, getting on the front should be a comfortable position for Call Me a Dreamer with a very strong C-zone score. So you got the strong C-zone, good chance to be on the lead with an overlay based on the morning line. That trifecta has produced many a winner. And then if we look at the race shape here, Tom, you got the 11-horse over here as lone speed. The 1, 6, and 9, they want to close. The other 4 have not been within 5 lengths of the leader. This 11-horse can get to the lead, do so with comfortable fractions. According to early pace, he should be lone E out there on front. If he doesn't go too fast, should have a good shot to go wire to wire. If you're looking for the closer in here, Social Joe, 13 points better than anybody else, though it's probably going to be too far back, but maybe can run up for second or third. And our total pace says Call Me a Dreamer, My Big Drama, Bukovel, and Social Joe, along with Grunion. That 5 should produce your winner, Tom, if total pace is the way. Who is your winner?
I'm going to start with number 4, Mansutu. First race was awful. Blew the start. Was really never in the race. So she's going to, and they're dropping this one out of maiden special weights. They're going to add blinkers, and I'm going with a better start, maybe some better results. Trainer, unfortunately, hasn't done so well, but it's only started 4 horses. Next one, it will be number 11, Call Me a Dreamer. Speed last out, was beaten by a nose. Definitely the best race of its career so far. Outside post, well, should be able to get a clear if they're going to send it, and I'm thinking they're going to. Number one, Gruntier is my next choice. He's a 7-year-old maiden with a 3-race career. Ironically, his best race was a moved turf race. So he just needs to get out of the gate a little better than he has.
And it's a moved turf race today for the one horse too.
Yeah.
You know, when you get that Lone E, everybody's looking for him, Tom. We have one here with the 11. Call Me a Dreamer. It is that Lone E horse. Should be on the gas from the go and has a good chance to be maybe as good or maybe a little bit better than it was last race in its second start after the layoff. Looking for a wire-to-wire effort out of Call Me a Dreamer. Mad Doctor, the 5 horse in here. This one is a class dropper and a track dropper. It's been off for more than a year, and in that year, they did a lot of stuff to him. They clipped him, first time gelded, shot him up with some Lasix, first time Lasix. And when you look at the workout pattern, they're pretty steady, they're pretty consistent, and they're pretty good. So if the horse is there off the class and track drop, could shock us in here. Grunion, as you mentioned, Tom, I've noticed that too. 7 years old with only 3 races. That's pretty unusual, no?
Yeah, very unusual.
Talk about nurturing the horse to the track. That's about as good as it gets. And if you look at the race numbers, the speed numbers, really kind of any 3 of those numbers would be competitive to win here, if not win. If he could just break a little bit sharper, like you mentioned, Tom, and just run back to form, hey, he could be a real handful, especially if he's up anywhere near the lead. And then finally, the 4-horse Mansueto. This is your lone maiden special weight dropper in the field. It's the biggest drop in all of horse racing, according to many horse players. He went off at 38-1 in its debut, but it did manage to run a Z pattern. So its early pace numbers here, mid pace numbers came back, found its second win down the stretch. So that lone maiden special weight dropper can be a great angle to play as well. Found a lot of prices
I
like
think
that.
with the breeding on that one, that it looks more like a dirt horse than a turf horse.
And that's what we're going to get today. We're going to get another dirt race in race number 4, Tom. Yes, indeed. What about this one?
They're all dirt races. Not
They
like
are now.
Our friends at Kentucky Downs, which we can honestly say there is no dirt.
Indeed. So what are they going to do here on the dirt?
We're going to go 6 furlongs. These are for fillies and mares. 66,250, not the higher number. These are non-winners of 2 lifetime.
All right, so one race winner is in here, and for many of them, that's the only time they actually gotten the money. 6 furlongs, you're talking about early speed. 43% of the time they go wire to wire. Post positions 1 through 7, 8 and out, a little bit of a bonus. We didn't see them go wire to wire in the opener at 6 furlong, Tom. So maybe they get back to form in the 4th spot today. If they do get back to form, the horse with the most early speed is Sansa Ariel. That 9 horse, 65% chance to get up onto the lead and a very strong C-zone. So if it gets to the lead, should be very comfortable on the lead. If you're looking for some value, the 2-horse Honey Camp, looks like 6-5 are fair odds according to our 1,000 simulations. And the morning line maker says no, 8-1. You see that on Unbridled Sass too. The 7-horse 8-1 morning line, 5-2 looks like our fair values. Another strong C-zone horse in here. If you're looking at those, the 1 Gem Cat, the 9 Sansa Ariel, and the 10 Cocoa Puff. Looking at the race shape for the 4th race here, Tom, we have one horse in here that doesn't look like any of the others. What I call the Sesame Street horse. That is your 8-horse Grand Spun, the Lone P. The bunch of horses that want to be on the front, everybody else middle back. If I see a half of the field wants to be on the lead, I'm going to look for a horse that maybe can be close to the pace with a little bit of late edge in it. So let's look and see what the early speed looks like. There's definitely a lot of pace in here, Tom, out of the gates. So we might see some fast fractions like you saw in the opener. And we saw in the opener a horse come from off the pace to get the job done. If that repeats today, it might repeat with the 7-horse again. Unbridled Sass, Chasing Artemis, and Honeycamp coming home as the ones with the most late speed. Total pace figures, Unbridled Sass, Honeycamp, your Speedster, and Gemcat. So the 1, 2, 7, and 9, there's your superfecta based upon total pace, Tom. Who is your trifecta picks?
I'll start with number 3. Chasing Artemis is my top choice. Ran at Timonium last time out. Ran okay race. I was at for 5K. They're just looking for what level to put this horse in. I think to get getting a winning effort for get past that non-winners of 2 tag, or non-winners of 1, I should say, so they can move up to the non-winners of 2. One of them maiden claiming at Delaware. But you look at his last 4 races, it's been fairly consistent. Really no poor efforts. The worst is a 4th. But the other ones are decent, and been close. Number 9, Sansi Ariel is my next choice. Class dropper. Issues the last race at Timonium. It's won over this track, but it's been a while since it's won. Is the drop enough to get it into the winner's circle? That's my big question. Number 1, Gemcat is my final choice. They're going to add blinkers. It's been in running interesting races because it shows speed in the last. It won its main claimer by a nose, and that was on the turf. So maiden on the dirt, technically. I just think we can get a piece here.
On Gemcat, I think it's going to get a piece too. We both ranked at 3rd, Tom, but I put that 9-horse Sansa Ariel as my top selection in here, dropping multiple classes. Last time out, stumbled at the start, so maybe bettors will not see that race for what it was. Great chance to be on the lead. Should be comfortable up there. So we'll see if indeed it can go wire to wire, like 43% of the horses do at Delaware, 6 furlongs on the dirt. The 2-horse Honey Camp, that big overlay here, as we mentioned at the get-go there, did run some better fractions out. This one's going to be the 2nd start after a claim for trainer Michael Simone. Simone being my daughter's name, so I have to pet that horse. A 38% winner for trainer Michael Simone, 2nd off the claim. Huge alpha for that trainer. Number 1, Gemcat, going to drop in class, going to track drop as well, going to catch a weight break. A lot of things in that going in that favor. But trainer Jorge Delgado, he's entered 13 horses at Delaware Park and won with 6 of them. 6 out of 13, I think like 43%, something like that. So clearly his horses are live at this track. And then Unbridled Sass ran a Z pattern, missed as the 20-cent favorite in its last race. They're going to go a half a furlong longer for that 7-horse. The top total pace horse should help in today's start. 5th race in this 8 race card, Tom. I think, was this another one that was supposed to be on dirt? If it helps,
on turf, yeah.
On turf, yeah. It helps if I press the right buttons.
Yeah,
not the best producer today.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And how are they running for today, Tom?
Well, these are $26,000 claimers. It's restricted to fillies and mares who have not won 2 races on the turf, or have not won 4 races. So the conditions really don't fit the race because it's a dirt race.
Yes, it does. Well, I guess in this case it does, which have never won 4 races. So that one's still kind of intact, but I don't know how much it came into play. Let's talk about, well, we don't have any data in terms of what a 7.5 furlong winner looks like. And it doesn't tell you what they're going to run at here. I'm going to guess they're going to run a mile, just a guess. If they do run a mile.
I think they're running the mile.
Yeah, if they do run a mile, early speed wins 30% of the time. It goes wire to wire. Small rail bonus for Gloucester. 2 and 3 small penalty, 4 plus small bonus at the mile. I feel like in race number 5, this is the one that just got completely destroyed with scratches. There's only 3 horses left in here. I don't know that pace or statistics or anything makes much of a difference in a 6-horse race. But if you're looking for early speed, it does look like in the 3-horse race that the Isabella is going to be the one that they all have to chase down. Very similar late pace. In these short races like this, if you get to the front, you can control the tempo. You do have a chance to go wire to wire. Pretty good total pace advantage over the other 2 horses in here, Tom. But I don't know. A lot of times the one that looks like it should get the job done here kind of stumbles or screws up something. We both agree the 2-horse should finish last. We differ on the 3 and the 6 on who should be first or second. Why do you think the 3 wins?
Speed. It's pure and simple. With a 3-horse race and definitely a jockey race, just a matter of keeping this horse under wraps at a fair pace, and that should make it a winner.
Mm-hmm.
You always worry about any MTOs that come into any race like this. Definitely I think the favorite. Brief layoff, that's a little bit of a concern, but it won its last 2. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2, running for money.
Yeah, the 2-horse is going to win now, Tom, because I've seen that happen way too many times.
Yeah, of course.
So, Nay, Yellow Palm, if you want today's Belmont picks, I do the handicapping most of the handicapping over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. You will see the Aqueduct is on the roster there. I'll give you a freebie in there. You can get the rest of them by clicking on the link below. In the first race there on the hurdles, Lille Imperator from France. That one does well. I've seen it run on the hurdles before. 8152. If you want the hurdles for the rest of the picks, head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. The link is down in the description down below. For the opener over there, Mr. Thomas, I think the 6-horse is going to win this race, Tom, not the 3-horse. I'm going to go with Indy again because it ran at Delaware Park once before, just once. And in that race, it won by 6.5 lengths with by far its career best speed figure. So I'm going to guess that this horse is a horse for the course, but both of these are going to probably be under 1-to-1 odds or close to it, with the 2-horse probably like a zillion to 1. Isabella, I agree with you, Tom. Very strong chance it's going to be on the lead, and that's where you want to be in the 3-horse race. And Miss Bombastic, we both badmouth Miss Bombastic. So guess what? It's not going to be third. It's going to be first, but I think it'll be third. Shouldn't talk crap about things. All right. Back to a horse race that has a couple of horses in it, Tom. That's the 6th race.
Thankfully.
Yes. What do they got going? What do they got cooking in this one?
These are optional claimers for $8,000, and they have last 3 starts, 5,000 or less. So they got to be up a little higher price. 5.5 furlongs is always an interesting distance because in these sort of bottom level horses, because sometimes it's very chalky and sometimes you sit there and scratch your head.
Bombs away. So if you're curious which horses you can buy, there's normally a number right here for the optional claiming. Classy Solution on the Brisnet form. You see that the horse is not in for a claim, whereas down here, this horse, the Sakari, is in for a claim. So you can buy this one, but you can't buy that one, Tom. In 5.5 furlongs, you did mention that sometimes they leave you scratching your head. But at Delaware Park, if you can get to the front, 47% of the time you got a chance to go wire to wire. So that's damn near 1-to-1 odds. So any horse that has a chance to get to the lead that's over 1-to-1 odds is one that you have to pay attention to just from a probability standpoint. There is a rail bias, so Classy Solution could do well. Although overall at 5.5 furlongs, the closer you are to the rail, to the better. So an inside speed bias is what you're looking for. In race number 6, if you're looking for some inside speed, maybe the 1-horse Classy Solution. Note away the 4-horse in here. That's the one that really looks like it's going to be on the gas when the gates open. Really strong C-zone, strongest C-zone in the group. So that means that horse will be comfortable setting the tone. Won't be looking around for horses behind it. If you're looking for value, it looks like the main overlay here is that 5-horse First Rule, 5-to-1 morning line odds. 6-to-5 looks like about fair odds for that horse. It's the way that race shapes from our race pays out from our simulations. Early speed again. Looking at this race shape, Tom, you got the 4 over here and wants to be the tone setter. Note away, according to the simulation, gets the lead, but recency bias favors the 1 Classy Solution. Although Classy Solution's an EP horse, it might let the 4-horse do the early lifting and then try to run by it late. Looking at the shape here, it's pretty balanced. So I'm going to think that any horse that can get its race, a good trip, probably wins. First Rule, the Sakari, Note away as your top horses in terms of late speed. You also see here the 2 front runners do have enough late speed to contend at the end of the race. Our top total pace, the Sakari, the 2-horse, Note away and Classy Solutions along with First Rule. So the 1, 2, 4, and 5 score out better than everybody else. That's your total pace trifecta, superfecta box, Tom, who do you think wins?
3. No more talk. Comes in from Saratoga, where it raced at a 12.5 level, which is the bottom in the claiming ranks at Saratoga. So we're definitely dropping a little bit here. One at the 10K level before. Form is a question, but in the past, this horse has shown speed. So is the drop enough? Certainly ran against a little better company than what we see here. Number 5, first rule is going to be my next choice. Definitely a speed horse. Comes off the claim. Going to move up a little bit, but it's right. The last 3 races have been good at the $5,000 level, and so I understand why they're moving it up. 1 Class A Solution, another speed horse, won its last 2, but I think it's going to get challenged for the lead, and probably hang around at the end for a piece.
Going to fade into 3rd?
Yeah, I think so.
I like the 4-horse Not Away. This one's going to be on the lead after running the top last race speed figure. And in its last race, and a sign of the horse being in form, just hope it doesn't mean it peaked. They did run a second faster than it did in the prior start. More often than not, you see improved fractions. That's a horse that's headed to it for another good race. Number 3, No More Talk. Tom, you did mention it is coming in from the NYRA circuit. So it is a class dropper and a track dropper, but it does have some experience at Delaware Park, where it's run 3 times with a couple of wins and a 3rd. So it should be right at home again. First rule, the 5-horse did run some better early pace numbers through the first half mile last out, and just a neck away from winning its last 3 races. So in top form. And the Sakari, aggressive drop in class for this one, Tom. It is the lowest level that this horse has run in the last 10 races. And at Delaware Park, it's went out 8 times, finished in the money 6 of them. 75% in the money at Delaware. All right, so race number 2, Tom, how long do we have for race number 2? Looks like we have approximately...
Well, they're just in post-parade, so at least 8 minutes.
So we have enough time to do race number 7. Again, a ton of scratches you see there. In the 7th race, they were planning on running on the turf again, but guess what? They're not.
They're not. We're going 1 1/8, so we're going to do it on the dirt. And this is for the allowance types at that $16,000 claiming or less in this year and last year.
And they got
that means we got winners in here.
Yes, it means they're running for 28 grand. This is the marquee race of the day off the turf, as we mentioned. I don't know if they're running at a mile. It will be run in the main track at 1 mile and 1/8. We do not have any data for that, but we do have our simulation data with all the scratches in here. Look, that's the next race they did that, where they scratched almost all of the even numbers. So if you're looking for the early speed, Boss Logic, that one's going to be on the front. Also, before the scratches did show that it was an overlay. Everybody else is not an overlay. This one also has the top total C-zone score, and that along with the 10-horse. Those 2 should be the most comfortable in this group. In this shortened field for race number 7, Tom, only 5 horses, all of which want to be middle back normally. So under this situation, short field, again, 5 horses. You're looking for the longest price horse that has a shot to win. Early pace does belong to Boss Magic, the 4-horse. If I click the right button again, this one scores 8 points better than anybody else on the early pace. So maybe a length and a quarter ahead of everybody at the quarter-mile marker. The late pace scoring 7 points better than anybody else. On your total pace, the 4-horse, then it just looks like the 4-horse should dominate this race. It is, what is that, a 25-point advantage in there, Tom? Something like that. That means this 4-horse should win by 5 lengths, Tom. It should run away. So if you're doing like the, what's the one? I forget the name of the one where lengths count in the picks. God, I can't. Anyway, I can't remember the name of the contest, but I can remember your name, Tom, and you can remember your picks. What are they?
I'm starting with number 2. Kobola La Mas. Comes off the claim. Trainer's 25% first up with a win. Blinkers are off. They got 3 works into this horse. They're moving it up a little bit. I'm thinking a little bit of a price. And interesting enough, this is the jockey's only mount. Number 4, Boss Logic is my next choice. This isn't the MTO coming in. Definitely is coming out since the layoff. It's been on a roll, 2 wins, a second, various tracks. As you said, it's the favorite. It's the speed, without question. But we also have number 7, 2x2. Comes also off the claim. He's won his last 2. They were on the turf, but he's done pretty well in the dirt too. He's in form, so that's got to count for something.
And the outfit, I know it's Bree Mott's outfit that I was talking about, where when you pick, it's like fantasy horse racing. I can't remember the name of and I can't believe I can't remember the name. It just drives me bananas. As soon as we click out, I'll remember. But
Drive Me Bananas is not running.
What's that?
Drive Me Bananas is not running in this race.
Drive Me Bananas is not running. Yes. I'm not running in the race at all. That's for sure. For race number 7, I have the 4 horse as my top pick. And here, I'm going to get to the lead. It's got that gigantic total pace edge. Best horse on the early part, best horse in the late part. Again, you can't pass what you can't catch. I don't think any of them are going to pass him or catch him. 2x2 is first off the claim for trainer Juan Arriagada. 20% angle for a 16% trainer. That is Alpha. Ratify, the 10 horse, likes a fast track, 10 times out, 2 wins, 5 seconds, and a third. That's 8 out of 10, 80% of the time. Every other track, it's been out on the surface or condition. One time, 1 out of 14 races, 5 seconds. No doubt he is fit after coming off 2 races where he was jumping over hurdles at 2.25 miles. Man, another word that almost escaped me. And then finally, Cobla Mas, consistent performer with some robust late pace. Going to need a faster start today, Thomas, especially in that small field. Let's rewind back to race number 2 here. Why is this here? That's not supposed to be there. No wonder I was confused. All right, race number 2. They are about to go into the gates. In race number 2, Tom, we predict that a lot of these horses have some early speed. The bettors are all over that 6 horse. No value in betting that one at 2 to 5. So from a value standpoint, the 2 horses to play are the 2 and the 3. According to our simulation odds, the 2 horse should be 2 to 1 morning line odds. You're getting 3 to 1. So a little bit of extra value in the 2 horse. Anna Rocks, your 3 horse, Tom, at 5 to 1. According to our simulations, closer to 5 to 2, 3 to 1. So maybe a 2-3 exacta box might be the most value that you can get in this race, Tom. As far as the C-zone scores, the 2 horse looks like the best value. Strong C-zone, little bit of an overlay. Let's see if the 2 horse can come home as the winner and as your it's not the best bet in the best bet standpoint, but the most value for the money. And they're going to make that 6 horse work because everybody came out pretty evenly going into that turn. They're forcing that 6 horse 6 wide. You can't tell me that the jockeys are 5 wide in a 5 horse field. Can't tell me they don't know that one's the favorite. Yes.
He is not thrilled.
So the 1 horse, as we predicted, would be on the lead. The 2 horses in the mix right there too. They're all kind of in there. They're really forcing that 6 horse's hand to go wide. He's running faster and he's running longer than everybody else. Very, very dangerous combination for its chances to win. The 1 horse continues to be up there and on their lead, with the 6 horse now finding its way to 2 wide, nosing its way in front of the 1 horse as they run through the backside. The 2 horse and the 4 horse with a good hold right behind the leading 2. The 1 horse still starting to back up a little bit, maybe. Going to probably pull out of the race, I would say, about now, as the 6 horse takes command through the opening half in 48-4. Hasn't really asked the 6 horse for much. The 2 horse has made its way in front of the 1 horse, although the jockey is asking for something out of the 2, whereas the 6 horse jockey still has command on that horse. You have the 4 horse at 14 to 1 also being asked. The 6 horse kind of drifting up the track a little bit. First crack of the whip from the jockey on the 6 horse. Now you have that 3 horse in there trying to split horses up on the rail, but it's going to be the second race in a row with a dominant winning performance from the winner. The 6 horse at 2 to 5, despite offering value, Tom, no value, is an easy winner. The 2 and the 3, the 2 horses that provided the most value, coming in second and third. So really, that's kind of a, if you like the 6 horse at 2 to 5, it's kind of a race that you kind of have to avoid, though, Tom, I feel like.
Yeah, that's definitely a pass race.
Even if you like that horse, the only thing you can do with it maybe is a straight exacta with the 6 over a straight exacta or trifecta for big money. That's about it. All right, Tom, one last race on the day for us at Delaware Park before we check out of here for the weekend. Terry and I will be back on Monday and Tuesday for Parks. And then on Wednesday, I'm not quite sure what Charles and I will do, but probably next Thursday we'll probably do Delaware next Wednesday and Belmont at Aqueduct. Should be just Aqueduct on Thursday. Before we get out of that, what are they going to do for our last set of races today?
We are going 1 mile. So maiden claiming $28,000 if you would like to buy one of them. And it's open to everybody. So you could be a filly or mare, or you could be a colt, but this is dominated with all colts.
And you're not going to run for 28 grand. You're only running for 21 here. So a little bit of a downgrade on the purse from the purchase price. Early speed again at a mile, 30% going wire to wire, small rail bonus. So Ransur might be all right there. 2-3 penalty, 4 and out, a little bit of a bonus at a mile. In terms of our simulations, a little bit of inside speed might be what you're looking for here, and that could belong to the 3-horse Whiskey Prize, moving inside with a 2-horse scratching. I'm surprised they just didn't scratch the 4-horse, because you got the 2, the 6, the 8, and the 10. All the even horses except the 4. I think by default they should just go back. The vet ought to scratch that one. So this is only an odd number raced horse. Looking for value, you get fair value with the 1, fair value with the 3. Really not an overlay, fair value with the 11 in the race with all the scratches. We don't have time, unfortunately, to rerun it. One day we'll be able to automate it. As far as our top C-zone scores, you have the 1 and you have the 4-horse, the one I said should scratch in there. So maybe a little bit of a wide open affair. Let's see if we can get some hints from the race shape. 3, 4, 5, and 7. These maiden types have not been within 5 lengths of the leader in up to 10 races. That leaves 3 in here. The 1, the 11, and the 9, if any of those can get forwardly placed, maybe they got a good shot to go wire to wire. That's the 3-horse, the Whiskey Prize. So maybe not going to finish 5 lengths off the lead today. The 1-horse, and then the 4-horse, another one that might not finish off the length there. Looking at late pace in here, Tom, Dangerous Mind and Wind Event, those 2 probably close into the back. So maybe they get rid of that never close designation. You're looking for the top total pace horse in your 7-point advantage for Whiskey Prize. According to that, Tom, no chance this one will be 5 lengths off the leader at the finish today. And the top 4 in here with a pretty good advantage over everybody else are the 1, the 3, the 5, and 7. The odd horses almost in chronological order. How do you rank them, Tom?
I start with number 3, Whiskey Prize. Some interest in that last race, but it didn't finish. So it drops into a maiden claimer. And I think this is the right spot because this trainer is from maiden to maiden claimings, 37%. From sprint to routes, 31%. From maiden claiming races, winning, 25%. I don't care anybody's book. Those are good numbers.
Yes. Must be eating the good hay.
Yeah. 7, Wind Event I'm going to take. Next, first race that it raced, it was an adventure to say the least. I like the last stop was much better, and it was moving at the end. It'll be closer to the pace this time around, and I definitely think it can hit the board. And finally, I'm going to take number 11, the Last Jump Start. Draws in, ran okay. Last race is better than the 3 previous races, which weren't great, but Signs of Life maybe. And since it drew in off the list, I always got to perk my ears up and take a good look at them.
Yeah, those are your favorite ones, the Signs of Life horse. That's an exclusive Tom handicapping angle. Tom, you kind of want to, without giving away the secret sauce, kind of tell folks what you're looking for in the Signs of Life horses?
I'm looking for where a horse has maybe been back by too many lengths in its earlier races, and then all of a sudden it moves up and shows something that it hadn't shown before. I also like to look at the works and see if there's anything going on. And this one, because it drew in off the list, he puts, as I said, perks my ears because they want to be in this race.
Yeah, and you do see signs of life looking at this speed pattern right here, moving upwards, boom, 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 and moving up aggressively. You also see, to me here, looking at this 11 horse, more signs of life with these early pace numbers really jumping off the page relative to everything else that the horse has done. So it wouldn't shock me at all if those signs of life turned into somebody signing the winner's check. In the last race for me, unfortunately, I don't have the 11 horse. I might reconsider that after looking at that, but I have the 5 horse Dangerous Mind. It's going to go long for the first time in here. Jamie Ness wins at 31% going sprint to route. It's a pretty good number. It's actually alpha angle for him. Whiskey Prize, another Jamie Ness horse in here on the class drop. Did show some major improvement in that second start. Anything close to a similar step forward in race number 3. And much like the first 2 races, this one won't be close with the 3 horse just blowing the doors off everybody else. The 1 horse, Ranseur. This one is a class dropper and a track dropper. And you have Paco Lopez riding. I mean, how do you pass on that one? And then finally, Rule Breaker is a track dropper with some back speed. The works are blah. The potential was there. The next one up for me was the 11 horse. Those are our picks for the final race today at Delaware Park. Our entire roster looks like this: the 7 horse winning the first race, the 6 horse winning the second race. That means Thomas is due. Pay attention to Tom. And if the 3 horse does well today, Tom, you're going to clean up.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of 3s.
Indeed, you do. You know,
well, ironically, in the last race, the 3 paid the best for the show.
Did it pay the best?
320. Yeah. 280 for the win. So, you know,
at 2 to 5, you're not going to pay much anyway to win, right?
No, you don't expect much. But it is.
That's right. For me, it would be a pass race, or if you think somebody can beat him, maybe you bet someone, or you think it runs out of a money, maybe you place a show bet where those pools explode because the 6 horse is not in there with all that money backing it for the 10% return, right? Like what's his name? Drake, who bet, what was it, $500,000 on the weekend on Israel. God, I always want to say Adesanya, who was like a plus 600 favorite. So he had to bet $600 to make 100, and he bet $500,000 to make, what is that, like 70 grand? To me, not smart. He can rap, but he can't do math. I take it. All right, Tom. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Again, if you want Albuquerque or any of our guaranteed tip sheet picks for today, including the opening day at Belmont at Aqueduct, should just be called Aqueduct in my view. You can get those in the description down below. Make sure you join us on our social sites. You see them down there below at Horse Race the number today.
We need the those clicks.
Yes, indeed. And you can share our content by hitting the share button on YouTube. Tom, any final thoughts before we click out of here for the weekend?
Well, I haven't done Delaware in a while, so it's kind of interesting to go through it. I'm a little disappointed they're not running on the turf.
I'm a bit disappointed too. I was kind of happy when I turned up the thing and I saw the track was fast and they hadn't scratched any of the turf horses yet, because we had some deeper fields there. Thought maybe we can get some prices, but the scratches, I think, really changed things around a little bit. I want to say thank you to Babet Hassan, Rebecca Pollard Rhodes, and Jay Marco for the thumbs up on Facebook. We don't see them on YouTube, unfortunately, so we can't say thank you, but we do thank you nonetheless. Do thank you for spending your time with us this week and on this terrific trifecta Tom Thursday. No matter what you're doing for the rest of this day or this weekend until we get together again, we certainly hope that you enjoy all of God's blessings, and everything you do, Thomas, from here to there ends up in the
winner's enclosure.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Monday.